You've been lied to. That authenticity constantly peddled to you on social media, it's the biggest personal branding scam there is. It's a disguised performance, a theater of vulnerability that drains your energy for nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's precisely why 90% of personal brands fail to create a genuine connection. They're putting on a show, but the audience senses something rings false. In this video, we're going to deconstruct this myth together. I won't give you platitudes. We're going to dive deep into the heart of the problem. We'll explore why raw authenticity is a deadly trap, why so many talented creators fall into it and burn themselves out. And most importantly, we'll break down the 7 pillars of a real connection. A connection that isn't built on performance, but on a deep truth. Buckle up, what you're about to discover will likely radically change your view of what it means to be real online. Chapter 1: The Trap of Performative Vulnerability. The first and most common trap is what I call performative vulnerability. It's what you see everywhere. The creator who posts a tearful photo with a long caption about their difficult day, the influencer who confesses a small, perfectly controlled flaw to appear more human. The intention seems good, to show you're not perfect. But the result is often the opposite of what's expected. Let me tell you a story, inspired by real events. Let's call her Chloe. Chloe is an incredibly talented graphic designer. She was told, be authentic, show your weaknesses. So, one day, after losing a bid, she posted a story. Tired face, slightly red eyes, she talked about her failure, her self-doubt. She thought she was building empathy. The result? A deafening silence. A few pity messages, but mostly disengagement. Her audience didn't connect with her sadness, they felt uncomfortable. Why? Because it was a performance. The audience sensed that this vulnerability wasn't a generous share, but a cry for help, a plea for validation. People don't go on social media to play therapist. They go looking for inspiration, value, direction. Performative vulnerability is self-centered. It screams, look at me, I'm human, love me anyway. True connection, on the other hand, whispers, I understand you, you're not alone. The nuance is immense. You don't connect by displaying your wounds, but by showing how you've healed them. But if showing your flaws isn't enough, what should you do? The answer lies in the second pillar, and it goes against everything you've been told. Chapter 2: Authenticity is not an absence of filters, it's a filter of values. We've been hammered with the idea that authenticity means no filter. Showing everything, the good and the bad, without restraint. This is a monumental mistake. Nobody wants to see your dirty laundry. Nobody has the time or energy to absorb the raw chaos of your life. True authenticity is not an absence of filters. It's the application of an ultra-powerful filter, the filter of your core values. Let's go back to Chloe. After her setback, she understood her mistake. She stopped trying to share everything. Instead, she defined her core values: creativity, discipline, and perseverance. From then on, everything she shared had to pass through this filter. She still experienced failures, of course. But her way of talking about them changed. Instead of a tearful story, she made a post a week later. The title, What My Biggest Failure of the Year Taught Me About Creativity. In it, she explained the process, the mistakes, but most importantly, how she used her value of perseverance to bounce back and create something even better. The sharing was no longer about her problem, but about a lesson that could benefit others. The audience no longer felt uncomfortable, they felt inspired. They saw not Chloe's weakness, but her strength. You don't connect by being a diary open to all winds. You connect by becoming a lighthouse, guided by the light of your own convictions. Filtering through your values is powerful. But it only works if you understand the third point, which is the true engine of lasting connection. Chapter 3: Consistency, the Forgotten Superpower. Authenticity isn't an event. It's not a courageous post or a tell-all video. It's a pattern. It's long-term consistency. People don't fall in love with just one of your posts. They fall in love with the person they get to know through hundreds of posts. Trust isn't born in a flash, it's built brick by brick, day after day. In the beginning, Chloe was all over the place. One day, she was experimenting with an ultra-minimalist graphic style because it was trendy. The next week, she was doing maximalist, colorful design. Her portfolio looked like a soulless patchwork. Her audience was lost. Who was she really? What was her signature, her vision? They couldn't trust her because she seemed to change her mind like she changed clothes. The day she decided her style would be defined by her values, clarity, boldness, elegance, everything changed. Every design, every post, every comment she made was consistent with this guideline. It was no longer boring, it was reliable. Her audience began to understand who she was. They knew what to expect. And this predictability isn't monotony, it's the foundation of trust. To be authentic is to be the same person today, tomorrow, and 6 months from now. It's having an internal compass that doesn't waver with the winds and tides of trends. Consistency builds trust. And here's the most important thing, once that trust is there, you can move to the next level, where the magic truly happens. Chapter 4, The Audience Mirror, Reflecting Their Aspirations, Not Your Problems. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive and powerful idea in this video. Pay close attention, your personal brand is not about you. I repeat, it's not about you. It's about your audience. It's about what you represent to them. A personal brand that successfully connects is not a portrait of you, it's a mirror held up to your audience. A mirror that reflects not who they are, but who they aspire to become. People don't follow Chloe the graphic designer. They follow what Chloe represents, unbridled creativity, the courage to live her passion, the discipline to achieve excellence. When she shares her struggles, she no longer does so by saying, "Poor me, this is hard." She does it by saying, "Do you also have creative blocks? Here's how I overcome them. Are you also afraid to get started? Here's the mindset that helped me." See the difference? The focus is no longer on her, but on you, her audience. She uses her personal experience not as an end in itself, but as raw material to forge tools for others. She has become a mirror of their own aspirations. They see themselves in her. Her success becomes proof that their own success is possible. Stop documenting your life. Start catalyzing the lives of others. It's a radical shift in perspective. And that brings us directly to the fifth pillar, the one 99% of people completely ignore. Chapter 5, The Intention Behind Sharing, to Serve or to be Served? Every time you're about to publish something, ask yourself this simple but brutal question: what is my real intention? Am I publishing this to serve my audience, or to serve myself? Your audience, even unconsciously, knows the answer. They feel it in their gut. To serve yourself is to post for validation. It's seeking likes, courage comments, messages of sympathy. It's the performative vulnerability we talked about. It's posting a photo of your new car hoping to evoke envy, disguised as inspiration. It's an emotional transaction where you ask the audience to fill a void in you. To serve is something else entirely. It's sharing a lesson learned from a failure so others don't make the same mistake. It's explaining the process behind a success to give others a roadmap. It's creating content that educates, inspires, entertains, or reassures. The intention to serve is generous. It gives without expecting anything in return, even though, paradoxically, it's what creates the most value and connection. Chloe analyzed her old posts. The tearful story? That was to serve herself. She wanted compassion. The post about the lesson learned from her failure? That was to serve others. She wanted to offer perspective. The first generated pity, the second generated respect and gratitude. The same situation, two radically different intentions, two diametrically opposed results. True authenticity is an act of service. Intention changes everything. But even with the right intention, you can still fall into a subtle trap, the trap of perfection. Chapter 6. The Art of Intentional Imperfection, Not Incompetence. So, if we shouldn't display our weaknesses performatively, should we project an image of perfection? Absolutely not. That's the other extreme, just as false and disconnecting. The solution lies in what I call intentional imperfection. Intentional imperfection is not showing that you're bad at what you do. That would be incompetence, and no one wants to follow an incompetent person. It's showing the how, the process, the behind the scenes, the work in progress. It's the artisan showing his dirty hands, not the one complaining about his back pain. It's the chef showing his failed recipe attempts, not the one crying because he burned his dish. For Chloe, the graphic designer, perfection meant only showing the final, shiny logos, validated by the client. It positioned her as an expert, but it was cold, intimidating. Intentional imperfection meant starting to share videos of her screen where you see her testing dozens of fonts, drawing sketches in her notebook, erasing, starting over. She wasn't showing that she was terrible. On the contrary, she was showing the enormous amount of work, research, and resilience needed to achieve an excellent result. It didn't undermine her credibility, it humanized her. The audience understood that excellence isn't a gift, but a process. And suddenly, she became not only admirable but also approachable. Don't show your final failures, show the work that allows you to overcome them. That's where true inspiration lies. We've covered performance, values, consistency, the mirror, intention, and imperfection. But the keystone is missing. The seventh and final pillar that ties everything else together and transforms a simple personal brand into a true community. Chapter 7. The Courage of Polarization. Authenticity means daring to displease. Here's the final truth. The hardest to accept. True authenticity is polarizing. If you try to please everyone, you will truly please no one. To be authentic is to have opinions, convictions, a worldview, and to dare to affirm them. It's accepting that to create a deep connection with a tribe, you must be willing to displease those who are not part of it. The greatest act of inauthenticity is lukewarmness. It's the fear of taking a stand. It's smoothing over your message to avoid offending anyone. It's becoming so neutral that you become invisible and forgettable. Connection is born from resonance, and resonance requires a clear frequency. You cannot vibrate on all frequencies at once. Chloe crossed that threshold the day she published a manifesto. A passionate text where she asserted her vision of design: beauty must serve meaning, and not the other way around. She took a stand against an industry trend she considered superficial. She lost about 100 followers that day. People who disagreed, who found her arrogant. But the thousands of others who stayed, their engagement exploded. They no longer followed her just for her pretty images. They followed her for what she stood for. She was no longer just a service provider, she had become a thought leader. She had found her tribe. And that's where the puzzle comes together. False authenticity seeks everyone's approval. True authenticity seeks connection with the right people. Conclusion. So, let's recap. The authenticity scam is believing that simply showing vulnerability is enough. The trap is performance. The solution is a 7-step journey. Stop performative vulnerability. Filter everything through your values. Be obsessively consistent. Become a mirror for your audience's aspirations, not a diary of your problems. Always act with the intention to serve, not to serve yourself. Master the art of intent. Don't forget to subscribe.